Connor Hellebuyck just won his third Vezina Trophy, took home the Hart Trophy, and came home from the Winter Olympics with a gold medal. And right now, nobody knows for certain if he's going to be wearing a Winnipeg Jets jersey when the puck drops on the new season. Let's start with the season that set all of this in motion. The Jets were the best team in the entire league during the 2024-25 season. Then 2025-26 happened, and things fell apart. Winnipeg finished with just 82 points. Injuries piled up. A team that looked like a Stanley Cup contender suddenly found itself on the outside looking in. Hellebuyck himself had a rough year by his own sky-high standards. He posted a 2.86 goals against average and a .895 save percentage, well below the numbers that had made him the league's premier goaltender for years. He also went through knee surgery in mid-November and didn't return to the lineup until December 13th. But here's the thing people forget. Put him on the international stage, and he was still the best goalie on the planet. At the 2026 Winter Olympics, Hellebuyck helped Team USA win gold, posting a 1.18 goals against average and .956 save percentage across 5 games. That performance reminded everyone exactly what he's capable of when healthy and locked in. So you had a disappointing regular season for the team, a goaltender who bounced back in a huge way on the world stage, and a Jets front office suddenly facing a real question about the direction of this franchise. That combination is exactly what set the stage for everything that followed. At the NHL draft in late June, Jets general manager Kevin Cheveldayoff addressed the situation directly. He confirmed that other teams had been calling about Hellebuyck. He didn't deny it, and he didn't dodge the question. Here's what he actually said. At the end of the day, we both chose to sign a 7-year extension. He gave up some UFA years. We had the desire to take a player into his high 30s, and there's risk on both sides. So again, as an organization, it's incumbent upon me to listen. And then that's kind of what I've done up until this point. That's an important quote to sit with for a second. Cheveldayoff isn't saying he wants to trade his franchise goaltender. He's saying that part of his job is picking up the phone when other teams call, especially with a contract this significant. Hellebuyck signed a 7-year deal worth $59.5 million back in October of 2023, which works out to an average annual value of $8.5 million. He's currently protected by a full no-movement clause, though that clause shifts to a 10-team trade list starting next July. Those contract details matter because they explain why this situation has dragged on all summer instead of resolving quickly one way or the other. A player with this level of contract protection has real influence over where he ends up, and that changes how negotiations play out behind the scenes. If you've been following this story, you know it hasn't moved in a straight line. It's gone through some real swings. Around the draft, talks with potential trade partners picked up steam, and it looked for a moment like a deal might actually get done before the summer was over. Then those same talks cooled off just as quickly. By August, one longtime NHL insider described the situation this way: "I hear it's quiet." That same insider added, "I still think he gets moved at some point in time." That quote sums up where things stand better than almost anything else. Quiet doesn't mean over. It means both sides are still working through what a fair deal actually looks like, and neither side is in a rush to force the issue before training camp. Meanwhile, the Jets themselves haven't wavered publicly on wanting him back. Reports throughout August have consistently pointed to Winnipeg's preference being to keep its franchise goaltender if they can find a way to make it work. But wanting to keep a player and being able to keep a player are two very different things, especially when a no-movement clause gives this much say over his future. What makes this whole situation so unusual is the timing. Most goaltender trades happen either right before free agency or right at the trade deadline. This one has stretched across an entire offseason, from the draft in late June all the way into the middle of August, without a resolution either way. That alone tells you how complicated the calculus is on both sides. Maybe the most telling reaction hasn't come from the front office at all. It's come from inside the locker room. Jets defenseman Josh Morrissey addressed the situation head-on, and his comments carried real weight given how long he's played alongside Hellebuyck. He said, You can't believe everything you might see or hear out there. At the end of the day, I hope Helle is back playing for us. He's the best goalie in the world. But what happens? Doesn't happen. Whatever. That's with him and his agent and the organization. It's something that's part of the game and part of the business. That last line is worth pausing on. Morrissey isn't pretending the rumors don't exist. He's acknowledging them directly while also drawing a clear line. This is a business decision that ultimately sits above any one player's control. Morrissey also spoke about last season more broadly, and his tone was honest rather than defensive. He said, "I can't put words in someone else's mouth. Clearly, last season was disappointing for us. Individually and as a team, it was frustrating, and yet we were still knocking on the door of getting in. But hopefully, for everybody, and I think I speak for everyone, making the first round is never the goal. The goal is to win the Stanley Cup." He didn't stop there either. Talking about the roster as a whole, Morrissey said, "We're a year removed from being the best team in the league. Having some issues last season with injuries and whatnot, it seemed that a lot of things that could go wrong did go wrong. Now, that's not an excuse. You need to find solutions and battle through those things, and unfortunately, we couldn't do it well enough. But I do feel personally confident in the group. That's a veteran player being straightforward about a difficult year without throwing anyone under the bus. And it gives you a real sense of where the room stands heading into a pivotal season. So where does this actually leave things? Training camp is approaching in mid-September, and that date matters. Teams generally want clarity on their goaltending situation before camp opens, not during it. That gives both Winnipeg and any potential trade partner a natural deadline to work toward, even if nobody has said so publicly. If a trade does happen, it would represent a major shift for this franchise. Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, and Josh Morrissey form the veteran core of this team, and they built their identity over the past several seasons with Hellebuyck as the anchor in net. Moving on from him would be an acknowledgement that the current group's window looks different than it did 2 years ago. If a trade doesn't happen, Winnipeg heads into the season with arguably the best goaltender in the world between the pipes, motivated to prove that last season was the exception and not the new normal, especially after the way he performed on the Olympic stage just months earlier. Either direction changes the outlook for this franchise heading into the new season. And with a no-movement clause shifting to a trade list next summer, this situation likely won't stay unresolved forever. One way or another, decision time is coming. Here's what we know for certain. Connor Hellebuyck is signed through 2030 to 31 at $8.5 million a year. His general manager has confirmed listening to calls from other teams. His teammate has publicly said he hopes the goaltender stays, and as of right now, nothing has been finalized in either direction.